Today, we are going to look at some exceptions. Before we get started, let's look at the basics. Vowels have long sounds and short sounds. Let's start with the vowel letter A. The long sound is A, as in bake. The short sound is A, as in bat. Next is the vowel letter E. The long sound is E, as in theme. The short sound is E, as in red. Let's move on to the vowel letter I. The long sound is I, as in file. The short sound is I, as in pin. Next is the vowel letter O. The long sound is O, as in lone. The short sound is A, as in dog. Finally, we have the vowel letter U. The long sound is oo or U, as in cute. The short sound is as in cup. Now, if English only had long and short vowel sounds, this is where I would just sum up the lesson. But I need to talk about exceptions a little bit first. I am going to read a list of words with the vowel A, and I want you to do two things. One, repeat after me, and two, notice the pronunciation of the vowel letter A. Repeat after me. Hat, cake, idea, talk, image, any. The first two vowel sounds match what we have covered today. The A in hat matches the rule for the short A sound, and thus takes the short A sound. The A in cake matches rule 2 for the long A sound, and thus takes the long A sound. The third word, idea, uses the broad sound for the letter A. The broad sound for the letter A, or sounds like a short U sound, or Its symbol for learners is the letter A with two little dots. The fourth word is talk. It is the vowel A, but its pronunciation is different. It sounds like a short O, or ah. The fifth word is image. The A in image sounds like a short I sound, or I. The sixth word is any. The A in any sounds like the short E sound, or eh. The symbols I am using for the examples in 4, 5, and 6 are non-standard. In 4, I chose the symbol with the circle over it because this A makes the short O sound, and the letter O looks like a circle. In 5, I chose the A with the dot over it because it makes the short I sound, and the letter I has a dot over it. For 6, I was just out of options, and this exception is pretty rare in terms of number of words. Let's continue with the vowel E. Repeat after me and try to notice the pronunciation of the vowel E. Bet, these, enemy, pretty. The E in bet matches the rule for the short E sound, and thus takes the short E sound. Bet. Number 2. The first E in these matches rule 2 for the long E sound, and thus takes the long E sound. These. Number 3. The second E in enemy is a little different. It sounds like a short U or a. Enemy, enemy, enemy. The symbol I am using, the E with the 2 dots, is non-standard. My hope is that you will notice that both the E in enemy and the A in idea have the same sound, and both have similar symbols. They both have 2 little dots over the vowel letter. Number 4. The E in pretty sounds like a short I or I. The symbol I am using, an E with 1 dot, is non-standard. Maybe you notice that the lowercase I has a dot, and this symbol sounds like a short I and also has a dot. Let's continue with the vowel letter I. Repeat after me. Middle, myth, smile, cry, taxi, happy. You might be thinking that the letter I is easy because it only has 3 variants: I, and E. Here's the weird part. The letter Y can also make these 3 sounds. Have you heard teachers list off the vowels as A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y? Yeah, the letter Y acts as a consonant sometimes, but other times it makes the same vowel sounds as the letter I. Number 1, the I in middle matches the rule for the short I sound and thus takes the short I sound. Middle. The Y in myth is a vowel, and it also matches the rule for the short I sound. Myth. Number 2. The I in smile matches rule 2 for the long I sound, and thus takes the long I sound. Smile. The Y in cry is a vowel, and it matches rule 1 for the long I sound. Cry. Number 3. The I in taxi takes a long E sound. The symbol I am using is an I with an acute accent instead of a dot. This symbol is non-standard, so you likely won't see it from your other teachers. Taxi. The Y in happy is also a vowel, and it also sounds like a long E sound. Happy. Let's continue with the letter O. Repeat after me and try to notice the pronunciation of the vowel O in these words. Sock, bone, come, move, woman. The O in sock matches the rule for the short O sound and thus takes the short O sound. Sock. Number 2. The O in bone matches rule 2 for the long O sound and thus takes the long O sound. Bone. The next 3 are exceptions, but are also quite common in English. The symbols I am using, however, for numbers 3 and 4 are non-standard. Number 3. The O in come sounds like the A in idea, the second E in enemy, and the U in but. Like the non-standard A and E, this symbol is an O with two dots. Come. Number 4. The O in move sounds like the long U in tube. The symbol I am using is the letter O with a diagonal line through it. This is non-standard. Move. Number 5. The O in woman sounds like the U in put. This symbol is standard. Notice how it looks like an O and a U. An O with an opening in the top or a really round U. I need to use this symbol to express this sound for both the letter O and the letter U. Let's continue with the letter U. Repeat after me and try to notice the pronunciation of the vowel U in the following words. But, tube, cube, bush, busy. Number 1. The U in but matches the rule for the short U sound and thus takes the short U sound. But. Number 2. The U in tube matches the rule for the long U sound and thus takes the long U sound. Tube. Number 3. The U in cube matches the rule for the long U sound and thus takes the long U sound. The difference between tube and cube is that cube takes the U version of the long sound, while tube takes the oo sound only. If I were to say tube or cube, you would notice something weird. Number 4. The word bush takes the sound. This symbol is standard, so that is good news. Bush. Number 5. Busy. This word is the weirdest. The U in busy makes the short I sound. The symbol I am using is a U with one dot. Maybe you notice that the lowercase I has a dot, and this symbol sounds like a short I. Now let's look at the vowels that share the same sounds. Repeat after me. Idea, enemy, come, but. All of the words have a vowel letter that makes the short U sound, or a. The vowel letters A, E, and O also make the sound. The two dots over the letter A and the breve over the letter U are standard. The two dots over the E and the O are non-standard. I am using them in order to make things easier for you as the learner and for me as the teacher. In other words, they match the two dots over the letter A. Now let's look at a different list. Repeat after me. Any, bet. Both the A in any and the E in bet make the same short E sound, eh. In terms of number of words, this exception is pretty rare. In terms of frequency, it is pretty common if you consider how many times you use the words any anyone, anywhere, anyway, and so on. Now let's try a different list. Repeat after me. Image, pretty. Middle, myth, busy. All of the words have a vowel letter that makes a short I sound, or I. The I with the breve is standard, but the dot over the A, E, and U are non-standard. Let's continue. Repeat after me. Talk, sock. Both of these words have a vowel letter that makes the short O sound, or ah. The breve over the O is standard. The circle over the A is non-standard. Just remember that the shape of the letter O is a circle, so this is a hint that this A makes the short O sound. Let's look at two more examples. Repeat after me. Woman, bush. The symbol I am using for the sound is standard. Let's look at these three words. Repeat after me. Move, tube, cube. All of these words have a vowel that makes the long U sound, or oo. The macron, or bar, over the U is standard. The diagonal line through the O is non-standard. If you are curious about the difference between the oo sound and the U sound, just take notice of the letter that appears before the letter U. In the case of number 2, the letter T followed by the U sound is difficult to pronounce. In the case of number 3, the K sound, k, followed by the U sound is not difficult to pronounce. Cube.